Whereabouts?
Pretty much all around, but mainly I would say the north side.
What was your life like before you ended up out here?
Um, I had a good life. I mean, I grew up. My mom was a pimp. My dad was a drug dealer. So it was off and on. My mom went to prison when I was younger. My dad got killed in 2005. So up until then, I had a pretty good childhood. After that, pretty much joined a gang, running the streets, in and out of jail. Didn't finish school, so yeah. Then ended up doing drugs. So
What was the major reason you think you ended up out here?
um, I would say when it first started, it was drugs.
And what was the first drug that you used that, and how old were you?
Opiates. Opiates, and then it turned into opiates at 14, and then at about 20, turned into fentanyl.
And how old are you now?
I'm 28.
So at 14, was it Oxycontin that you started with?
Yes.
hmm And what was that first situation like when you first tried it? Did you get talked into it, or were you seeking it?
Actually, I got prescribed it because I broke two of my ribs, and I got it prescribed, and it was like the warmest hug ever, the best feeling in the world. It's the best way I can put it, even though it's the worst thing in the world, you know. But happy to say I am 4 months sober. I did go to rehab for 90 days. Just got out of rehab and trying to get everything back together.
That's so awesome. Is that, do they have a resource for people that are out here that can go to rehab?
Out here, not that I know. I went in Florida, in Jacksonville.
Oh, that's
My
awesome.
family sent me to Jacksonville. Well, my aunt did, and then she ended up. She has congestive heart failure, so she's been in the hospital for quite a while. So
So when you first used the oxys, they were prescribed to you, which is a pretty, I've heard that's a pretty common way people get hooked on it.
yeah,
And I'm assuming you only had a certain amount that they
yeah,
gave you, and then you started seeking it after that.
yes.
And then is it just because fentanyl was cheaper that you tried it when you were 20?
Um, yeah, actually, I can say that because it got to the point where the pills were $1 a milligram, so I was paying $30 for one pill when I could pay $30 and get, you know, excuse me, but half a gram of fentanyl, that'll last me 2 days, half a whole day.
hmm So fentanyl, at least,
And actually, to be honest, for a year before the fentanyl, it was heroin
hmm
because couldn't get pills around, and so switched to the heroin
Did you
because
start off smoking it, or?
smoking it. Yeah,
Yeah.
never injected, never anything like that. Only smoking.
So you think most people are on fentanyl just because it's just a bigger, better bang for your buck, basically?
Yeah,
Yeah. And how much does fentanyl typically go for?
Anywhere from $50 to $100 a gram,
hmm
depending on who you find.
Have you seen a lot of overdoses?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
You lost a lot of people that you've
I
known?
lost just my recent girlfriend on an overdose.
Yeah. Did she not want to get treatment with you, or?
And that is exactly what happened. I told her that I was gonna go to Florida for the summer and get treatment, and she was more than welcome to come. And I guess she wasn't ready. She waited for me to fall asleep, and she stole my stuff. And they found her a week later in the desert.
What does a day to day look like when you were dealing with your addiction?
Pretty much what I'm doing now, except going to buy it, standing out on a corner probably 8 hours a day, trying to get the money to get high, and then going probably halfway across the city to find somebody with the best price, and then sitting out the rest of the night and nodding out until the morning and do it all over again.
And how long does it typically last before you start to feel sick?
About an hour or two.
Really? So you smoke one fentanyl pill and an hour later you need another one?
Yeah,
And how much is a pill? You said like $10 or
like
something?
$2.
$2 a pill?
Yeah. Now, nobody's even buying the pills anymore. It's straight fentanyl powder.
Huh.
So yeah, it went from the pills to powder, and to me the pills were a lot worse. I seen a lot more OD overdoses on the pills than the powder, but it's all the same.
Would you say fentanyl is probably the main drug of choice here in Las Vegas?
Yes.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
way beats out meth and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say it beats out meth because almost every fentanyl user I know has to mix it with meth.
Really, just to kind of keep up.
I never was one of those, but I never understood it. But yeah, almost, I would say about 98% of them mix it with meth.
Do you ever think about a different kind of future for yourself?
Yes, absolutely. I do. And I'm glad and hoping to say that I am on the right track. I mean, I'm still out in the streets as of now, but I am working to get things better. I'm looking for a sober living. I'm looking for meetings. I'm looking for a job and resources to help get all of those things.
Would you say there's a lot of resources out here to help people?
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot.
that's awesome.
A lot.
How about law enforcement? Do they treat you pretty well being homeless?
Yeah, I pretty much don't get bothered, and the ones that do ever pull over or say anything, they either give me money or advice or resources. They're not too bad on messing with people that are in this predicament. I think I've ran into more cops that are trying to help than just lock you up.
Wow, that's amazing.
So
Are you religious at all?
yes, I'm a Muslim.
You're a Muslim?
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Thank you.
I'm a Christian, but
Alaikum assalam.
yeah, that's awesome. How long have you been doing that?
I just took my shahada about 2 months ago.
That's great. Did you do that when you were down in Florida?
No, I did it here.
Okay. Has that changed your life at all?
Yeah, it's opened me up to a whole new community of loving brothers and members that really do care for each other and really do believe that all is one under God, and every man is equal. Every person and soul is worth saving or worth caring for. So, yeah, it's a great community. A great community.
Did you ever have religion in your life before that?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I was full blood Christian, but I went to church and believed in Jesus. Yeah.
That's awesome. Have you seen a lot of evil since you've been out here?
I mean, I really stick to myself, to be honest, but I have seen some pretty wicked shit. Like, excuse my language, but I've seen some wicked stuff. Yeah. I've seen people get stabbed in this parking lot over trying to take someone else's dope, and they woke up and caught them. Um, I've seen girls be kidnapped and held for weeks. I've seen, you know, pretty much every trick of the trade. Not too, but I too much. I stick to myself a lot, so I don't really intervene with a lot of people out here. But just from witnessing the other people around here, yes, it's a lot of evil out here. But on the flip side, there's a lot of good and a lot of great hearts. Because I've been blessed and helped for so many years by so many people that I couldn't even begin to. It definitely outweighs the evil, by a huge margin.
That's awesome. That was actually my next question.
By a huge margin. I've had people take me on $1,000 shopping sprees. I've had people buy me hotel rooms. I've had people buy me tents, clothes, food, everything. Offer me a place at their home. Everything you can think of, I've been offered, and it made me see the good in the world because I had a lot of hate in my heart.
Just from the way you grew up?
Yeah, just being alone, and everyone I know and love close to has died, and yeah, it's.
What was the happiest moment of your life?
I would have to say probably the years that after my mom came home and before leading up to um, drug addiction. So I would say from about 8 to 13,
Mm-hmm.
8 to 14.
Have you had any of that experience come back since you've been sober?
Yes, I have. never lost my relationship with my mom, thank God. But I did distance myself from her. But we are back like this, so yeah, just a great experience overall. Just everything that I've been wanting and running, I would say running from, but wanting at the same time, I'm getting back.
What's a common misconception that you think people that, haven't experienced any real chaos in their life think about homeless people?
That just don't be too quick to judge someone, Don't be quick to kick somebody when they're down already. Because a lot of people that are homeless are not even drug addicts. They've been through a lot in their life. And, just everybody deserves a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance. Everybody deserves to live and prosper and grow in life, especially coming from where I did and getting a chance to do that where I thought I'd never see. Thought I'd never see 28. I didn't think I'd live past 25, to be honest. I thought I'd have been overdosed or been shot and killed, something. So, and people can change. That's my biggest one. People can change. You just have to wait till they're willing to. You can't push anybody into something that they're not ready for, but people will change if they're ready.
Have you had any experiences at shelters here?
No.
No. I've heard a lot of negative things about them.
Horrible.
Yeah. What were some of the things that you've heard about the shelters?
Just every sickness, infestation, all kind of like bed bug infested. The staff are horrible to you. Like they got so many rules and regulations. Like it's like pretty much being in jail or like being on house arrest. That's how I've come to intake. How I've been told about it. So and unless you're a mother that's pregnant or running from like domestic abuse, they treat you like you're shit on the ground. But they do have good resources for moms or women that are, trying to get out of an abusive relationship and stuff. That I've heard good.
What's one piece of advice you'd give your younger self?
Finish school. Try to put that negative energy into something positive. Try to focus on something positive instead of to release the negative energy the way I did, and stay away from gangs. Cause stay out the streets. Stay out the streets. The streets are no good for nobody. I joined a gang when I was 12 years old. I was part of the roll of 60 Crips. And the things I did in the gang, like shooting at people, fighting, going to jail willingly to catch people to fight, or to go hang out with the homeboys, breaking into people's houses, breaking into people's businesses, taking things that people worked hard for. And one day, I broke into a house on Christmas Eve, and I searched the whole house. I went upstairs, and I walked in the room and turned the light on, and on the bed was a lady holding her 3 kids, and I could see her crying but pretending to sleep, and it just hurt my heart. It was like I wouldn't want nobody to ever do this to my mom or grandparents or my sister. So I just whispered to her, I'm like, it's okay, I'm leaving. I just turned the light off, turned around and left. Never robbed anybody's house again, never broke into anybody's business again. So, at all I did have a heart. I would specifically pick houses that were empty or that I knew were empty or businesses that closed after hours. Never wanted to be the person to have to hurt somebody for something. That seemed ridiculous to me.
Was a lot of the burglaries to support your habit at the time?
Actually, no, it was to be cool, to fit into the game, because that's what the members that I was hanging out with was doing. That was their way to get cash and, and be tough guys. And yeah, I would say I looked up to them, but it wasn't like the gang members always hung out at my house because my parents sold drugs and would cook the crack for them to go sell and say, to be so honest. So I always grew up around gang members, and it was kind of more or less like, this is what you're gonna be, whether you like it or not, like, so that's how it pretty much happened. Because not all people are necessarily bad because they're in the gang. A lot of people are just looking for love, or that unity, that structure, of a family. So I think I'd live till now. You can do it. Anybody can do it. You just gotta want it. I didn't want it for a long time. I was scared of responsibility. I was scared to grow up. I was scared. I was frightened. I was hurt. I was, and this journey came with a lot of pain and a lot of joy at the end. You gotta go through the stuff that makes you vulnerable to make you tough and make you succeed. That would be my lesson for anybody that's going through what I'm going through. Just take it one day at a time. You can change. You can do it. All you gotta do is just find the right support group. You can't do it by yourself. You cannot. You can't do it by yourself. That's one thing I learned. I've tried plenty of times to get sober by myself. Oh, I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna go rehab for 7 days, detox, and I was always the one that was like, why do I gotta find God to, or put my faith in something spiritual? Until I did, I never understood it or didn't think that I would need it. But when I did, that was the thing that helped me get through it. That was the thing that helped me get sober and continue every day to stay sober. When you need somebody to talk to, you can talk to God. He's always there.
Mm-hmm.
And people are not always there to talk to. People have lives, you gotta understand that. So that's what that's why I started the process of religion. I needed someone to talk to when I was at my worst. When a talk would help me through the day, when a talk would stop me from putting a gun to my mouth. At the worst that I've ever, when I'm feeling like shitting and pissing and throwing up on myself, and begging and just stopping and just sit and have a conversation with who you believe in. If you don't have friends or you don't have family that you can talk to or a support group that you can talk to, God can be your support group. And I had to learn that too.
Have you had any religious experiences?
To be honest, it was like an epiphany almost. It was, I just got down and I told God, I said, if you help me through this, and if I open my heart completely up to you, you show me a way that there is a way to get through this and stay through this. And the next day I was in rehab. Or actually that same night I was in rehab. My grandma called and my aunt called and said, hey, I ain't heard from you from a while. And they called, I'm like, this gotta be a sign. It's only people that can pay for me to get into a rehab. And I just broke down crying on the phone and was just like, whatever you need, I got you. And sent me to rehab.
And you said you've been sober 4 months?
Yeah.
That's huge, man.
4 months and 23 days now.
That's amazing. It's not an easy thing to get off of. I know this sickness. Do you think a lot of people stay on the drugs just because they don't want to be sick?
That was my whole thing.
It's like
It
even
wasn't that I couldn't live without the drugs. It wasn't that I was scared of what I would be without the drug. And done to my life, and you just gotta keep going and see through to the other side, and eventually your life will turn around. As long as you put in the effort, you can't make it right. You can't make it better. Anything gets better, and that was my two biggest issues. Was the withdrawals. I was always scared of going through the withdrawals, and when I was going through them, my mental state would be so shitty, to the point where I was like, why even want to live, but you gotta come up with coping mechanisms, positive things to do to get through that when you're thinking like that. Like I said, have a conversation with God or someone in your support group. Go out, try new activities, go and, read a book, so anything, color, anything, just something to distract the bad thoughts. Because those are the two biggest things to get over. And once you get over that, it's pretty much easy sailing, which I can't say is easy because you still have to life, but now you can life in a whole new experience and happy. I wasn't happy, and that was my biggest thing. Is I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be with my family. I wanted to be like all my friends that I grew up with that got cars now and a girlfriend and kids and a nice house, a good job, and they're all meeting up on Saturdays and going on boat trips and fishing. And I'm not going because there ain't no way for me to go and get high, or nobody wants to hang out with me because all I do is get high, so.
It becomes kind of a vicious cycle.
Yeah. And then you start to, like you said, a cycle. You start to, oh, they don't want me around, or I'm not going on the cruise. I can't get 2 weeks worth of drugs to go on the cruise, and if I did, I can't sneak it on the cruise, so I'm not going.
Mm-hmm.
That type of thing, so then you just become a loner, and then you become in the cycle of being by yourself, getting high, being by yourself, getting high, and then slowly and surely one day you look up and everyone you know and love ain't called you in years, you ain't seen them in years, so yeah. No, this was good for me, because I've been feeling a little down lately, so it's good to get the things off your chest. Like, one thing I learned, if I can leave a message, write down what you're feeling. If you write it down, you get it out. Write it down. I promise you'll feel a lot better. That can be my last message to anybody. Even if you're still on drugs, or just if you're feeling bad, write it down. I promise it'll feel better. I promise you'll feel better. Just get it out. Or just say it out loud. Say it out loud. It might look crazy talking to yourself or whatever, but you're helping yourself. Do what others think. Just say it out loud. Get it out. Get them thoughts out of your head. And I promise you'll feel a lot better. If you don't have anybody to talk to, you can always talk to God. Whether you believe in Him or not, you can always talk to God. In some way, somehow, it might not be a straight answer, but He will answer you back. You just have to look for the sign. You have to believe in the sign, and God will talk to you back. And pray, read your Bible or your Quran, and just one day at a time. That's how I got it. Get through it. That's how I'm getting through it. So I'm still in recovery. I'm still gonna always be in recovery. Just one day at a time. Don't rush anything. Don't feel overwhelmed to do anything. Don't feel like you gotta, do anything at a certain deadline or nothing. It's great to have goals, but don't rush. Take your time. That's my biggest regret in life, is not taking my own time, thinking that I had to do something for the well-being of others and to have to be at a certain point in life because of what everyone else in the world is projecting on you or perceiving life to be, Be yourself. Take it one day, 1 hour, 1 minute at a time. Whatever helps, Just can do it. You can do it. Because I was one of them that didn't believe I would. I didn't think I'd ever get sober. I didn't think I'd ever believe in any religion. just gotta find what fits